I still vividly remember my father grilling fish every weekend. His signature dish, mackerel, was a symbol of health in our home. Flavorful, fragrant, and believed to be great for the heart and memory. He used to say, "Now that I'm older, I need to eat more fish to stay sharp." And I believed him, until he started forgetting things, and was eventually diagnosed with early-stage dementia. We were shocked to learn the very fish he ate every week contained mercury levels dozens of times higher than what's considered safe for older adults. Today I want to share with you 6 common types of fish that older adults should avoid as soon as possible. Not to cause fear, but to empower you, to protect your memory, your heart, and your peace of mind in this stage of life. You'll learn why your body after 60 can no longer process toxins the way it used to. Why some types of fish, no matter how fresh or expensive, can do more harm than good. And most importantly, which fish are safer, tastier, and easy to find as healthier alternatives. You've come a long way to reach this point in life. Now is not the time to trade your health for an old habit or a familiar choice. Let every meal be an act of love for yourself and for the ones still watching over you every day. Ready? Let's start with the first fish on the list. A familiar name in many supermarkets and restaurants, but also one of the biggest hidden threats to memory in older adults. You might be eating something that's quietly fading your memory, without even realizing it. A food you thought was healthy, something you believed supported your heart and brain, but in reality it's silently damaging your body, week after week. It's not fried food, not candy, not canned goods either. It's fish. Yes, fish. Some of the most common types of fish may actually pose the greatest danger to. Number 1, king mackerel. The healthy imposter I still remember when my mother was in her 60s. She began paying more attention to healthy eating. She cut back on red meat, started taking vitamins, and every time she went to the market, she insisted on buying mackerel, the large, firm kind, proudly promoted by the seller as great for the heart and brain. "You see?" She smiled, marinating it with lemongrass and ginger. "The doctor said so. Eat fish instead of meat, and you'll live longer." At the time, I believed it too, until I came across an FDA report. That's when I began to realize something. Not all mackerel are the same. The problem lies in the name king mackerel. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? King of the mackerels. But that name conceals a worrying truth. This is one of the fish with the highest mercury levels found in nature. Each time you eat it, mercury silently enters your body and builds up over time. For younger people, the body can still eliminate some of it. But for those over 60, when the liver, kidneys, and nervous system are weaker, mercury doesn't leave the body as easily as it used to. And once it accumulates, it can lead to memory loss, hand tremors, insomnia, and poor motor coordination. A real example? My mother. Ever since she started eating mackerel weekly, she gradually became more forgetful. One day she even left the stove on while cooking, completely forgot about it. We went for a general checkup. The doctor didn't find any specific illness, but advised us to review her diet, especially large ocean fish. We pulled the frozen fish package from the freezer and read the label carefully. King mackerel, product of Gulf of Mexico. That's when I understood. The fish she was eating wasn't Atlantic mackerel, the smaller, safer kind. It was king mackerel, with mercury levels dozens of times higher than the safe limit for older adults. What lesson did I take away that day? Not all fish are good, and not every fish is suitable for every age. If you love mackerel, choose Atlantic mackerel, smaller, safer, and still rich in omega-3s. Or switch to wild-caught salmon or sardines, small fish, low in mercury, and incredibly beneficial for both the heart and memory. King mackerel may rule the open sea, but it has no place on the plates of older adults. And if you think that's the most dangerous fish out there, just wait for what's coming next, because the next one contains even more mercury than king mackerel. And the scary part is, it might be hiding in that white fish dish you ordered at a restaurant just last week, without you even knowing. Number 2, tile fish, the restaurant fish. Disguised as safe one evening, I went to a seaside seafood restaurant with my father. It was a special occasion, my grandparents' wedding anniversary. We ordered the catch of the day, Freshly caught fish, which sounded fresh and tempting. The server brought out a piece of white fish, lightly grilled with lemon butter, delicately fragrant and beautifully presented. My father nodded approvingly. White fish is always good. Light on the stomach, good for the brain. Doctors recommend eating more of it. At the time, I thought the same. But what I didn't know, and what many people don't know, is that white fish isn't always as straightforward as it sounds. There's a type of fish called tile fish. Sounds unfamiliar, but it often appears in whitefish dishes at restaurants. Not because it's good, but because it's cheap, easy to cook, with white, slightly firm meat, a texture favored by many older diners. But here's the issue. Tile fish ranks among the fish with the highest mercury levels, as warned by the FDA. Just one serving of tile fish can push your body's mercury levels far beyond the safety threshold. Especially dangerous for seniors, whose liver, kidneys, and brain are no longer as efficient at filtering out toxins. I still remember the case of my neighbor, Mrs. Ruth, 72 years old. She lived alone and didn't like cooking, so she ate out 2 or 3 times a week. Her favorite dish? Grilled white fish with steamed veggies. Sounds like a great healthy choice, right? But after a few months, she began having memory issues. Forgetting bills, mixing up doctor's appointments. She went for a checkup. All her health markers were normal, except for one. Her blood mercury level was 4 times the safe limit. Turns out the white fish she had been eating was tile fish from the Gulf of Mexico, one of the most heavily contaminated sources. What's the lesson I took from Mrs. Ruth's story? Not all white fish is healthy, and when you eat out, especially in retirement, you have every right to ask exactly what you're putting into your body. Next time you see catch of the day or white fish on a menu, ask, what kind of fish is this? Is it tile fish? If the answer isn't clear, go with a safer choice, cod or haddock, both white fish, light and very low in mercury. Tile fish might be served under candlelight on a beautiful porcelain plate, but appearances don't always reveal what lies beneath. And if you think restaurant fish is the only concern, just wait for the next one. A fish considered premium, served at luxury events, on yachts, even at anniversary dinners for many couples. But behind its elegant name lies a truth that might make you think twice before ordering it again. Swordfish. Number 3. Swordfish. Premium fish, premium toxins. I used to think only fried foods and canned products were harmful to health. That changed one evening when I took my parents out to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. We chose an upscale restaurant by the sea, soft candlelight, gentle music playing in the background. My father flipped through the menu and his eyes landed on the grilled swordfish steak. With a smile of excitement, he said, "It's not every day we eat somewhere this fancy. Let's go for something special." The fish arrived thick, firm, grilled to perfection, fragrant with garlic butter. Everyone raised their glasses. No one questioned the choice. Swordfish looked elegant, refined, luxurious. But what's the reality? Swordfish is one of the highest mercury-containing fish in the wild, and the reason is simple. It's a top predator in the food chain. It lives a long time, up to 15 years, and over all those years, it accumulates toxins from the smaller fish it eats. Unlike bacteria, which can be killed by cooking, mercury doesn't go away, no matter how thoroughly you grill, steam, or fry the fish. It remains in every fiber of the meat, and when consumed by older adults, the body no longer filters it out like it used to in youth. I remember Mr. John, an old friend of my father. He was a seafood lover with a refined palate. Every special occasion, he would treat himself to swordfish, his way of indulging. At first, everything seemed fine, but after a few years, he started experiencing numbness in his feet, frequent headaches, and chronic insomnia. A medical checkup revealed the culprit: abnormally high mercury levels in his blood, not from eating too much fish, but from eating the wrong kind at the wrong time. At age 70, his body simply couldn't detoxify like it could at 40. What did I learn from his story? Sometimes luxury doesn't mean what's best for the body, especially after the age of 60, when every meal isn't just about feeling full, but about staying well. If you enjoy firm, flavorful fish like swordfish, consider switching to rainbow trout or pollock. Still delicious and satisfying, but lower in mercury, easier to digest, and gentler on the nervous system. Swordfish may be the star of a romantic dinner, but for older adults, it can quietly weaken memory and neurological health. And if you think avoiding grilled fish is enough, think again, because the next fish often shows up in the form of fresh, ruby red sashimi, served in modern, minimalist sushi meals that appear harmless. But the truth is, big eye tuna brings a double threat: high mercury levels and serious bacterial risks. Number 4. Big eye tuna, ahi tuna. Stylish sushi, double risk. A few years ago, my father started developing a taste for sushi. At first, I was surprised. He'd always preferred traditional dishes like braised fish or sour soup. But then he explained, sushi feels light on the stomach. It's something different. The kids take me out for it often. It's fun. Each time he'd order a sashimi set with slices of bright red tuna, eye-catching, labeled as ahi tuna. The server would proudly describe it as premium grade, big eye tuna. It sounded elegant, modern, and after all, it's fish. So who would question it? But that very fish, marketed as a healthy and trendy choice, actually carries 2 serious risks for older adults: high mercury levels and bacterial contamination from being eaten raw. Big eye tuna, also called ahi tuna, is a large, deep-sea predatory fish that lives a long time. Like swordfish, it accumulates mercury throughout its life. Even a small serving of raw tuna can contain 4 to 6 times the safe mercury limit for seniors. But that's only half the problem. The other half comes from eating it raw. Older adults have weaker immune systems and slower digestion. This means they're more vulnerable to harmful bacteria like salmonella, listeria, or parasites from raw fish. Things younger bodies might handle, but in older adults, these can lead to long infections or even hospital visits. I remember one time, my father went out for sushi with friends at the local community center. That night, he came home feeling tired, with a mild fever and a dull stomachache that lasted for 2 days. We thought it was just a cold, but when we took him to the doctor, the diagnosis was a mild gastrointestinal infection, likely caused by improperly stored raw fish. From that day on, he told me, "Next time I eat fish, make sure it's cooked, okay?" Sushi's fun and all, but at this age, my body just isn't what it used to be. What did I learn from my father's experience? Not every modern dish suits an aging body. Tuna can be good, but not all tuna is safe. And raw and fresh doesn't always mean smart and healthy. If you or a loved one enjoys tuna, choose skipjack tuna, commonly found in canned light tuna, which contains far less mercury. And most importantly, opt for cooked tuna over raw to reduce the risk to both digestive and immune systems. Big eye tuna might look beautifully red on a sushi plate, but at this age, what matters more than surface elegance is inner safety and peace of mind. And if you think sushi is the only double risk meal out there, the next fish may surprise you even more, because it's a familiar face in every supermarket with shiny orange skin and an appealing low price. But behind that fresh appearance lies a hidden truth few people know. Farmed salmon, not always the healthy option you might believe. Number 5, farmed salmon. Not as rosy as you think. When my mother turned 70, she began watching health programs on TV every morning. One day she called me over and said, "They say salmon is great for heart health and memory. I'm thinking of cooking it once a week." I was glad she was taking care of her health. So every time she went to the market, she'd pick up those pre-packaged trays of salmon, bright pink and affordably priced. The label read, "Atlantic salmon, farm-raised." Everything seemed fine until I started looking more closely into farmed salmon. Not all salmon is the same. Farmed salmon, especially the cheaper kind imported from countries like Chile or China, is often raised in cramped tanks where thousands of fish are packed together in water that's rarely filtered. To keep the fish alive in such conditions, they're fed processed pellets loaded with antibiotics, disease-fighting chemicals, and artificial coloring to make the flesh appear pink. In reality, without dye, the meat of farmed salmon is a pale gray. Even worse, the feed is often contaminated with PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, an industrial toxin banned in the US for decades, but still found in the food chains of countries with lax aquaculture regulations. I remember my mom once complained about joint pain and poor sleep. I thought it was just the colder weather, but when we saw the doctor, his advice was simple. Reevaluate the diet. If she's been eating cheap farm salmon regularly, it's time to switch to better quality fish. We checked the freezer, and sure enough, there were 5 frozen packs of farm salmon from an imported brand. Since switching to wild salmon, even though it cost a bit more, she's been sleeping better, feeling more alert, and she noticed the difference herself. I feel lighter, honestly, and the fish smells and tastes so much better. What lesson did I take from that? Not all salmon is healthy by default. Quality depends heavily on origin and farming methods. If possible, choose salmon labeled wild caught or Alaskan salmon, naturally caught, free from antibiotics and artificial dyes. It may cost a little more, but it's not just a meal, it's an investment in your health. Salmon may be the superstar of healthy eating, but if you choose the wrong kind, that pink glow might just be a facade masking hidden risks. And if you think only imported fish from far-off oceans pose a threat, just wait for the final fish, a comfort food tied to childhood memories, family dinners, holiday gatherings. Catfish, a beloved Southern classic. But when imported from poorly regulated sources, even this familiar favorite can become a serious health hazard. Number 6. Imported catfish, a dish of memories, a modern-day risk. If there's one dish that brings back childhood memories of the American South, it's got to be crispy fried catfish. I still remember every holiday or family gathering, my grandfather would stand over a big cast iron skillet, dropping cornmeal-coated catfish fillets into the hot oil. The sizzling sound, the subtle aroma, and his booming laughter as he said, "Nothing beats homemade food." For many older adults, catfish isn't just a meal. It's a memory, a tradition, a comforting reminder of simpler times with every golden, crunchy bite. But sadly, not all catfish today are like they used to be. A large portion of catfish on the market is imported from overseas, particularly from some Asian countries where farming conditions and hygiene standards aren't as strictly regulated as in the US. These fish are often raised in stagnant, overcrowded ponds with poor water quality. To prevent disease, they're treated with antibiotics. And many of these antibiotics are banned in the US due to links with antibiotic resistance and hormonal disruption. In fact, the FDA has rejected hundreds of shipments of imported catfish due to the presence of toxic chemicals. I think of Mr. Walter, our neighbor. He used to fry the best catfish in the neighborhood. But a few months ago, he was hospitalized with a severe gastrointestinal infection. Tests showed he had contracted a drug-resistant bacterial strain, a dangerous condition for anyone, especially seniors. His daughter checked their freezer and found the culprit: frozen catfish of unknown origin, imported and unregulated. Since then, he's switched entirely to U.S. farm-raised catfish, carefully regulated, food-safe, and properly monitored. "It tastes the same, but I eat it with peace of mind," he told me with a smile. What did I learn from that? Not every dish keeps its original value over time. Even if it's all called catfish, where it comes from makes a world of difference for your health. If you love this traditional fried favorite, choose catfish labeled U.S. farm-raised, fish raised in clean environments, carefully inspected, with minimal medication, and certified by the USDA. And no matter which catfish you choose, always cook it thoroughly, especially important for older adults with weakened immune systems. Catfish may carry the flavor of the good old days, and that's exactly why we should honor its place in our lives by making smarter, safer choices. Now that we've explored 6 familiar fish that carry hidden risks for seniors, let's take a moment to review, reflect, and most importantly, turn knowledge into action. You've come a long way to reach this golden chapter of life. Now is the time to protect the years ahead with intention, with wisdom, and with a little more love for yourself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring for yourself and for the people who care about you. If this video was helpful, leave a comment, share your thoughts, or simply write, "I'm starting to make a change." Because who knows, your words might be the spark that inspires someone else, somewhere, to begin their own journey toward better health. See you in the next video. Together, we'll keep walking the path of living well and living joyfully, one mindful meal at a time, until these years become the most peaceful and meaningful ones yet. So we've just walked through 6 types of fish that seem healthy on the surface, but actually carry hidden risks for older adults. Let's take a moment to repeat them, slowly and clearly. 1. King mackerel. The royal mackerel, but with mercury levels that can impair memory and the nervous system. 2. Tilefish. The fancy white fish served at restaurants, often dangerously high in mercury. 3. Swordfish. A luxurious choice, but its toxins accumulate over time, and no amount of cooking removes them. 4. Big-eye tuna. The raw sushi favorite, bringing a double risk, high mercury and unpredictable bacteria. 5. Farmed salmon. Bright and cheap, but often dyed and contaminated with industrial chemicals. 6. Imported catfish. A nostalgic comfort food that, without a verified source, can compromise an aging immune system. But do you know what the most important message is? You don't have to give up fish. You just need to choose smarter. Prioritize small, short-lived fish like sardines, anchovies, or rainbow trout. Wild-caught fish, clearly labeled. Domestic, traceable fish, especially U.S. farm-raised catfish. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, don't worry. Change doesn't have to start big. It can be as simple as taking an extra second to read labels at the store, asking politely at a restaurant, "What kind of fish is this?" Or just sharing this video with someone you care about who needs to hear it.